you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
Glory to Royal Page Art Team. Well, as a part two to the previous blog, I'd like to discuss a strategy, and this is just one other strategy when presenting multiple offers. The question is, should you or shouldn't you make everybody aware that they're competing for the purchase of a listing when you're representing the seller and you are not representing any buyers? Well, the real estate board rules are in contradiction to RECA's rules. So you should know that the Edmonton Real Estate Board says that you must tell everybody that they're competing unless otherwise instructed by the seller. RECA's rules say that you do not need to tell everybody that they're competing unless instructed by the seller. So as you can see, it's two very conflicting business practice suggestions, and that's what I'm going to call them. And of course, we have to abide by the rules, but which rules apply? I think in this case, the rule that applies is quite simply your seller's instruction. Now, your seller is going to give you instructions based on information that you provide for them. So if you only give them half the information or a little bit of the information, they're going to make a decision based on that. But I suggest that you give them all the information. Let them know that the rules from the Edmonton Real Estate Board are to tell everybody. And RECA's position is that a better business practice is maybe not to tell everybody. There are alternative negotiating methods. So what I'm going to suggest is that you talk to your seller about it and offer another alternative. Maybe it would be appropriate in any specific situation not to tell two buyers that they're competing. And you might say, well, why wouldn't you want them to know? Well, the number one reason would be that one of the buyers might decide not to compete simply because they feel they might end up paying more because they know they're competing. If they didn't know they were competing, they might be willing to pay that price, but you would never know if they didn't write the offer or they backed out after they knew they were competing. So, a strategy that you might want to suggest to your client might be not to tell everybody they're competing. Take a look at the offers first, and then decide whether to tell people if they're competing or not. This way, you're guaranteed to see all of the offers that have been written, and you'll know immediately who's willing to compete and who's not willing to compete once you let them know, if that's what you want to let them know. But why play the seller's hand earlier than you need to? I mean, at the end of the day, it's your seller's decision. Even the real estate board and RECA can't decide on which way is the correct way to do it. And that doesn't mean that one of them is wrong. I don't think either of them are wrong. What I do believe, though, is that there's many different strategies, and you need to start thinking outside of the box. So, remember, make our team your team.
Where you think you're going,